How we doing, guys? Text and test 4 here, page 73. We're looking at question 1 initially, which says simplify each of the following. Part 4 asks you to simplify root 200. This is based on this idea. If you look at the square root of 4 by 9, square root of 36, is the same as the square root of 4, 2, multiplied by the square root of 9, 3. Okay, that you can break up surds. You can factorize the argument and then distribute the surds over that pair of factors. Okay, so this is called the distributive property of surds over multiplication. So root 200. So what you look out for in this is you look out for factors of this number that are also square numbers that you know the square root to. So 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, etc. Okay, so the square number that is a factor here is 100. And you do root 100 by root 2. And then you say, well, the square root of 100 is 10. So that becomes 10 root 2. Okay, as you do these exercises, it's actually sometimes useful, particularly at the beginning, to just have these numbers written down at the top of the page: 36, 49, 8 squared, 64, 9 squared, 81, and so on. Question 2, part 3 here, has asked you to do the square root of 32 plus the square root of 18. So you say, well, what's the square factor there? That's 16. So I say that's the square root of 16 multiplied by the square root of 2. And the square factor here is 9. So that is the square root of 9 by the square root of 2. Well, the square root of 16 is 4 root 2 plus the square root of 9 is 3 root 2. And we get ourselves a simplified answer of 7 root 2. Question 3 gives you a fraction with a surd in the bottom. Well, you're going to say, if I multiply top and bottom by the same number, I don't change the fraction. We all know that. 1/2 multiply top and bottom by 3. 3 over 6, it's the same number. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by root 50. What that'll do is root 50 by root 50 in the bottom gets me 50. Okay, which is a rational number as opposed to the irrational number we started with, which is the square root of 50. So we don't like to leave surds or irrational numbers in the bottom of fractions if we can avoid it. 50, and then we get 20 root 50 in the top. Okay, zeros cancel straight away. Also, 2 over 5 root 50 can be written as the square root of 25. Okay, 25 is one of our square factors, times the square root of 2. That gives us 2 times 5 times root 2 over 5. And the 5's cancel. 2 root 2 is how that one simplifies down. Question 5, a little bit more complex. You've got 12 over 3 minus root 2. Okay, so this number at the bottom has a surd, but it also has a whole number. We're going to use the idea of difference of two squares here. If you remember, x squared minus y squared can be written as x plus y multiplied by x minus y. And if you were given something like that and you wanted to multiply it out, you get x squared minus y squared. You can see an example there. If you pick two numbers, 6 squared minus 2 squared is the same as 6 minus 2 multiplied by 6 plus 2. Okay, 6 minus 2, that's 4 times 8 is the same as 36. Take away 4, it's 32 in both cases. So that's your difference of two squares in action there. How we use it up here is we say, well, if we don't want to surd in the bottom here, if we multiply by what's called the conjugate of 3 minus root 2, which is 3 plus root 2, then we're going to get 3 squared minus root 2 squared. And so we'll get rid of the surd on the bottom when we multiply by that. But you can only multiply on the bottom of the fraction if you also multiply on the top of the fraction. So that is going to give us 12 by 3 plus root 2. And then this is our difference of two squares expansion here. So we get x is where 3 squared is. 3 is where x squared is. So we get 3 squared. 3 is where x is. And y is root 2. So minus root 2 squared. Okay, well, what does that give us? That gives us 9 minus 2. On the bottom, on the top, 12 times 3 plus root 2. So that is going to give us 36 plus 12 root 2 all over 7. Okay. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do now is questions 1, 2, and 3. Finish them off. And question 5, part 1, if you give that a go, please. In class tomorrow, we're going to do 4, finish 5, part 2, finish question 5, and then generally finish the exercise. Okay, see you then. Bye-bye.